EA is obviously not super stoked in regards to how Dragon Age the Veilguard performed, but because of this, they've come out and started saying some insane, just straight copium takes about why this game failed, because apparently to EA, this game failed because it wasn't a live service experience. And this has obviously sparked some discussion amongst fans of the Dragon Age series, fans of Bioware in general, but also the developers that are still remaining that worked on the Veilguard, that said they literally would have quit the studio if they had to continue creating this game and release it as a live service. And if you remember, this game was actually being created as a live service for a number of years under the name of Dragon Age Dreadwolf. This was the original title for the game, and that's when it was being created as a live service. The reason it took so damn long to come out and had so many developmental issues as they were building this game is because they had to switch it completely from live service over to a single player experience. And no, not everybody liked the game that did come out. I think critically it was very successful amongst, gaming publications, but that's not always saying much. The users, the fans, and commercially, this game didn't hit expectations and obviously had a lot of drama and controversy surrounding it, where a lot of people didn't give this game a chance or gave the game a chance and did not enjoy what they played. But I promise you, if there was a list of 1,000 things that were wrong with this game not being a live service would not be on that list. Everybody, including myself, has talked about at length the biggest issues with this game, which is obviously the narrative, the dialogue, and the tone. And that's, at least in my opinion, the biggest issues why a lot of Dragon Age fans and other people coming over to the Dragon Age series didn't really fit very well. It wasn't targeted towards the audience that actually was interested in playing the game. But you know what targets that audience even less? A live service experience. The last live service game you dropped was Anthem! And you're saying that's the reason this game wasn't successful? You already have a blueprint for exactly what Dragon Age players want. It's called Dragon Age Origins. If you're looking to why the game failed, you should look at what the games that were successful within the franchise already did. Nobody plays Dragon Age to play a live service game. They play Dragon Age to play an extremely long single-player adventure. One that is set in a dark fantasy environment, is not scared to take risks to get even more brutal, gritty, and gory than a lot of other games. One that has a great balance between humor and very serious moments, that also has characters that are very relatable that you grow to love throughout the game. One that explores an extremely deep lore and where you can make choices as your character that have consequences based on your decisions that really affect the world in a meaningful way. Very few of those things could have been delivered on if this game ended up being live service. The last thing Dragon Age players want is to hop in a multiplayer party hub and then go out on specific missions that they repeat over and over and over and over again to get better gear like the game is fucking Destiny. One thing I actually think the Veilguard did do well was trying to get away from the live service as much as possible, because don't get me wrong, there were still a lot of remnants of this there. Number one, the world design was very tailored and kind of structured in a way that it was pretty linear, like you would be going on a live service mission. If you look at the combat, the action combat in this game, which it might not even have been action combat without them creating live service first, but was completely derived from the original plan and what they were going to do when they were making the live service game. The way a lot of the enemies' mechanics work, the way a lot of them are relatively quote-unquote bullet spongy, or in this game just spongy in general and take a while to kill, unless you have like obviously in a super overpowered build. All of the different classes have ultimate abilities. All of this stuff is derived from what a lot of other live service games do, and it was obvious they were building the combat based on what they used to have because they couldn't revert it completely because of how much development time they had when this game was developed to be a live service game. Even the progression systems in this game, specifically with the gearing, was very live servicey, was very loot shootery, for example. A lot of the different items, right, had different colors. that you could combine together to make even more powerful, or add in different crafting materials to make even more powerful as well. All of this which you see in pretty much every live service looter shooter experience. Hell, I mentioned the hub earlier and saying Dragon Age players don't want to just go from a hub to all of these different missions. Well, guess what? This game did have a hub. They changed it even pretty well into a single player hub in this game. However, I guarantee when they were building this game as a live service, the tower was 100% meant to be a multiplayer hub where you then go out on all these different missions. Guarantee it. If anything, this game would have been so much better if they just developed it as a single player game from the jump. And genuinely, I do feel like the Veilguard developers did a good job straying away from the live service as much as possible and making sure all of these remnants at least felt good as much as possible with a single player experience. The obsession for live service right now is absolutely insane. And what's crazy is you really have to hit lightning in a bottle to even make money on them. But they're so dumbfounded and they're so blinded by, if we have a successful live service, we can make money for years and years and years to come, and we can make exponentially more money than a single player experience. And yes, that's true, especially if you're FIFA and Madden for EA, for example, that are the only games that have the rights to the players in general. But most of the time, these live service games do not work. Look what just happened to Suicide Squad. Look what just happened to Concord. Look what happened to your game, EA, with Bioware, Anthem, that I mentioned earlier. These games did not work, and I can come up with a million other games that didn't work in the live service market versus ones that actually did. And there's a game that's been established over the years as being a great live service experience, like Call of Duty, for example. Yes, the live service model definitely makes sense. But when you're changing games that were always historically great single-player experiences over the last decade and more into a live service game, that is when it does not work. Because the fans that you cultivated over years and years and years and years that are expecting something that they know and they love and get something completely different, it's going to fail. It's not going to appeal to anybody, and your target audience is going to look at your game as a failure before it even comes out. I mean, shit, EA, if you really want to add live service into every single player game or make every single player game a live service, just develop a great single player game first, one that, you know, the established fan base already wants and is asking for, and then maybe a year down the road when they're done playing the game, release a multiplayer mode for that game that they already enjoy. Maybe you could add live service elements to that. Ghost of Tsushima did a great multiplayer version of a single player game. Granted, didn't have live service elements, but you could add those on. I don't know. Maybe it's a way you can start making some of your money, but at least develop the great single player version of that game first that players love and can enjoy. Because like I said, if someone came up with a list of a million different things that was wrong with Dragon Age the Veilguard, I promise this game not being a live service wouldn't even be on that list. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what you guys think about this. Do you think this game should have been live service, or are you kind of on my side here where you don't think that was an issue at all? I would definitely love to hear your guys' opinions and get some other perspectives here on what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for 980 subscribers. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, you like gaming news, gaming reviews, and you like the video that you did see here, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!